Hello, Kentucky. Kentucky reportedly dedicates half of its budget to men's basketball. What now? Is this right? Let's take a closer look at the news. If there's one thing that defines Kentucky basketball, it's its ability to defy convention and forge its own legacy. A recent CBS Sports report by Matt Norlander brought to light intriguing rumors about the program's financial plans for the 2025-26 season, with prospects that seem almost unimaginable in a college landscape as competitive as the SEC, although the information hasn't been officially confirmed by athletic director Mitch Barnhart. It raises profound questions about how men's basketball is being prioritized within the institution's budget and whether such a strategy is sustainable or fair. According to Norlander, Kentucky is allocating approximately 45% of its $20.5 million salary cap to men's basketball for the upcoming season. This would represent approximately $9.2 to $5 million, a staggering figure that far exceeds the $3 million most SEC schools appear to be setting aside for their basketball programs. In comparison, the conference's model provides for a more balanced division: 75% of the cap for football, $15.37 million, 15% for men's basketball, $3.08 million, 5% for women's basketball, and another 5% for smaller team sports. These figures suggest that, if the speculation is true, Kentucky would be making a radical move by investing in basketball, even in a context where football remains the primary financial driver for most sports institutions. But is this bold gamble justified? And more importantly, is it healthy for Kentucky's sports ecosystem? Before making any hasty judgments, it's important to recognize that men's basketball has been the cornerstone of the university's athletic success. With a history packed with national championships, players who have become NBA stars, and a passionate fan base, the program led by Mark Pope has always been seen as a cornerstone of Kentucky's identity. Therefore, investing heavily in basketball is not only a matter of tradition, but also a strategic statement of intent. Kentucky breathes basketball, and the university understands this better than anyone. The decision to prioritize the sport can be seen as a way to maintain this emotional connection with the community and ensure that UK remains an undisputed powerhouse on the national stage. The size of the proposed investment raises inevitable questions. By dedicating nearly half of its budget to men's basketball, Kentucky would leave just over $11 million to distribute among all other sports, including football, women's basketball, and sports like baseball, volleyball, and track and field. This type of allocation contrasts sharply with the model followed by most SEC schools, where football typically absorbs the majority of available resources. While Alabama, Auburn, and Tennessee are building football empires, Kentucky seems willing to take the opposite path, placing all its bets on the brilliance of the court. But won't this approach compromise the financial and competitive health of other programs? And furthermore, does basketball really need so many resources to remain successful? Another question that arises is the relationship of this supposed budget to the concept of nil, which allows athletes to monetize their image individually. If Kentucky is willing to offer its basketball players tons of money, whether directly or indirectly through NIL agreements, won't this create an even greater imbalance in recruiting? Some have criticized the growing commercialization of college sports, arguing that large sums of money can alienate the educational values that should underpin collegiate athletics. However, it's also true that Kentucky has always been at the forefront of adapting to market changes. And perhaps this aggressive stance is the only way to remain relevant in times of transformation. What's striking, however, is the flexibility Barnhart mentioned when discussing the budget. He chose not to provide specific numbers, but made it clear that he wants to maintain adjustable margins to meet the needs of different sports throughout the year. This suggests that while men's basketball may be getting a bigger share now, other programs aren't completely abandoned. At the end of the video, you can comment. Could football change significantly in 2025? Speaking of Zack Kalzada, Kalzada's experience and elite arm strength have generated excitement among fans, analysts, and even the players themselves. With a solid track record in the SEC, the 25-year quarterback arrives at Kentucky with a clear mission: to raise the team's competitiveness in one of the most challenging championships in college sports. Mark Stoops, known for his cautious public statements, left no doubt about the impact Kalzada can make. During his remarks at SEC Media Days, there was a tone of confidence when he referred to the young quarterback as the future of the program. Although Stoops didn't explicitly confirm Kalzada's starting position for next season, it's clear that the coach sees a significant difference in him. And with good reason. The ability to throw balls with the power of a professional NFL player is something few college quarterbacks can offer. This striking characteristic of Kalzada was highlighted by Josh Katuz, one of the players who has had the opportunity to work directly with the new quarterback. When asked who throws better, Kalzada or Will Levis, whose arm was widely praised at the NFL Draft Combine, Katuz hesitated before answering, but made it clear that both are on a similar level. The description of Willie Rodriguez, another teammate, illustrates the power of Kalzada's passes. Well, I just heard it whistle right over my head. It made a noise. That image is enough to spark the imagination of any football fan, especially those who crave explosive, decisive plays. But Kalzada's impact goes beyond his powerful passes. He brings with him an unusual amount of experience for a college player. 6 seasons of experience in the sport, including standout performances in big SEC games. This track record is exactly the kind of leadership Kentucky needs to face tough opponents like Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee. Furthermore, his desire to come back and prove his worth reflects a resilient mindset, typical of players seeking to reaffirm their place among the best. Meanwhile, the team's tight end is optimistic about the partnership with Kalzada. He has an NFL arm, he said, emphasizing that the quarterback seems to have a natural affinity with tight ends. This connection could be a deadly weapon in Kentucky's offense, especially considering the growing importance of this position in modern football. If Kalzada can find consistency in his throws, something that, admittedly, is still a point of focus, the Wildcats' offensive system could be a game-changer this year. As the season approaches, anticipation grows for the work of Mark Stoops and his coaching staff. The coach has repeatedly proven that he knows how to shape competitive teams, even in the face of challenges. Fans can only eagerly await the start of the season, confident that the future holds unique moments. Derek Shea's arrival as the new tight ends coach, following the departure of the charismatic and legendary Vince Marrow, has generated a wave of enthusiasm in Lexington, and early signs point to an immediate and positive impact on both recruiting and player development. The transition to new leadership at the tight ends position couldn't have gotten off to a more promising start. Derek Shea, who took over just 24 hours after Marrow's departure, has already demonstrated his readiness for the challenge. With a robust resume that includes stints at LSU, Marshall, and Missouri, Shea brings with him valuable expertise and infectious energy. His experience developing elite tight ends like Mason Taylor and Cole Taylor, who are now shining in the NFL, is indicative of the potential he can unlock within the Wildcats player base. He knows what he's doing. It's already taught us a lot, said Josh Katuz, one of the team's tight ends, who praised Shea's approach as a coach and expressed excitement about working with him for a full season. Shea's impact extends beyond the training room. In recruiting, he's already made his mark in record time. Less than 10 days after taking the job, Shea was instrumental in securing the commitment of Lincoln Watkins, a 3-star tight end who, despite an official visit to Florida, opted to join the Wildcats. This feat demonstrates not only Shea's skill as a recruiter, but also the confidence young talent has in Kentucky's project. He hit the ground running. He was incredible in recruiting, said Mark Stoops, visibly pleased with the decision to promote Shea, who had already served as an offensive analyst for the team since last season, focusing on the running game and building relationships with the tight ends. Kentucky's tight ends room, now with Shea, is a blend of experience and promising youth. Players like Willie Rodriguez, who already showed flashes of potential last season, and Henry Boyer, a solid blocker with playmaking ability, form the foundation of a talented group. They are joined by names like Elijah Brown, who brings experience from programs like Alabama, UCF, and FAU, and freshman Mikkel Skinner, whom Kattis described as super talented. This combination of veterans and newcomers creates an ideal setting for Shea to implement his philosophy and turn potential into consistent production, something Stoops believes is within reach. I love what I'm seeing. He's done a wonderful job in the classroom, too, the coach added, highlighting Shea's dedication both on and off the field. Stoops, who has already transformed Kentucky into a respected force in college football, appears to have found in Shea not only a worthy replacement for Marrow, but also a coach capable of taking the tight ends group to new heights. Shea's connection with Bush Hamdan, the Wildcats' offensive coordinator, also facilitates strategic integration, ensuring the team's offense maintains its cohesive and creative identity. Do you think Shea will make a difference on this team too? Let us know.